Going for boost. Well, I think going for boost, if you're a boost merchant, like someone like AJ or someone, you go for boost.
100% of the time.
Yes.
Always, every second of every game. Ball's going in your net, don't worry about it. Go get the boost and make sure you've got the full 100 to celebrate with the other team.
Oh God. Never. Yeah, never. Always go for ball.
Yeah.
Number one rule of Rocket League.
Welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, where three aggressively average Rocket League players talk about everything RLCS with your hosts, Ace, Code Red Jack, Kyle Cube, and AJ Binky. So, if you've ever wondered when the best time to go for Boost Over Ball is, you've come to the right place.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope everyone had a good end of the off season here. As we are getting ready to jump into our new RLCS season. I'm Kyle K Cube, and I'm here today with AJ Binky and Flash Pandy, the Rumble God himself. How's it going, guys?
Hello.
Good as always.
Hell yeah. Well, we got a big episode today. We will be talking about the RLCS rosters that have come out as people start to sign up for the qualifiers. We will have more information as the weeks go along. Open qualifiers start January 26th. And we'll also talk a little bit about some of the format changes as they continue to drop out, like rulebook things and further details, as well as some of the RLCS talent not being brought back or renewed before wrapping up for today's episode. But first and foremost, let's jump right in. We'll talk about some of the rosters that have been confirmed with the crazy long off season leading to, I think, maybe one team staying the same in all of RLCS, from what we've seen at least, being Vitality. So, we'll jump right into it. We'll start out in MENA, Middle East, North Africa. We have Rule 1, a team of Nuepo, Okhalid, and Ahmad. Twisted Minds, a team of SMW, Senzo, and Mason. And Falcons being Rawas, Killers, and TRK. What do you guys think of these rosters, and how much of a shakeup has this been for everybody in MENA?
I've got to refresh my memory on these MENA guys replacing letters with numbers in their names, but it seems like we got some mean rosters in MENA.
Yeah, I was gonna say this looks real scary.
Rule 1 specifically, picking up Nupo is just rude.
I mean, it kind of came out as a shock when you hear that Rawas and Killers are leaving Rule 1. And then it's announced very quickly after that Mason is also leaving the team. So, basically Rawas, Killers, and TRK all go to school together. They're all good friends. So, that roster is very young, very dangerous. I'm extremely excited to see what they can do. And then you have Okhalid and Ahmad being dropped by Falcons to pick up Rawas and Killers. So, maybe we'll get a little bit of a grudge match there. And Nuepo also getting dropped by Falcons to make that accommodation. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Rest in peace, Falcons. Your glory will not be forgotten in RLCS alongside the other NA teams that are joining MENA this season.
Yeah, and I mean, Twisted Minds, I think that's a big pickup getting Mason, and I'm interested to see what they can do. But we'll talk more about some of our expected results and predictions a little bit later on. But we can move on to SAM, South America. We have Furia making their return to SAM with the team of Yan, Lost, and Drafinho. We have Hero Base, a team of Sad, Drops, and Klaus. Ninjas in Pajamas, Astromic, Mata, and Swift. We have Team Secret with Knight, KV1, and an unknown third. And currently Crew has no one rostered. So, like I said,
Crew just getting out of the game.
I feel like Crew had a crazy dangerous roster as of recently. I don't really know what transactions happen.
I mean, as far as I know, they still have a coach. They still have, some people still on the roster. And I'm not really sure what their plan is moving forward. They still have Paquitas as a coach and Michi as an assistant coach, but you have Shad leaving for LSL. You have Drafinho leaving. You have Drops leaving. Basically, as their, big placing, right? They got 9th to 12th at the World Championships, falling to Falcons. I kind of expected some big things for them, keeping the roster together, but, their roster kind of implodes. So they're either getting out or they have to full rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, I know Astramic, Mata, and Swift are going to be dangerous. I had the misfortune of having to play against Swift in a RLCS Sam like Caster Pro tournament that they did, and he won it, obviously. Actually, no, he didn't, but he killed me. He knocked me out of the tournament. He was really good. That's one of like those 14-year-old editions with the new rule, dropping it down to 13. I think he might be 15 now, but all I know is he's young, he's super good. And then obviously Furia returning to Sam with Yan Lost and Drafinho. That's going to be crazy as well. Those three are going to be fun to watch.
They are.
Yeah, it's gonna be a real.
Sam's
fun
one of my
team.
favorite regions, man. I've always enjoyed watching the Sam players go at it.
I am intrigued, and I'm interested to see hear what you guys think about this. But with Furia spending, the season in NA, getting that experience, getting to play in a region with a more, I'll say, flushed out ecosystem, right? A larger talent pool, a larger player base, things like that. If they bring some of that back to Sam, right? Some of that, extra experience and competitiveness that you'd see from one of the major regions to that. I'm interested to see what they can do. They certainly are a fantastic team. They had some good results in NA, and I think they will continue to have good results in Sam.
Also, we are sad fans here on the podcast.
Oh yeah, big sad guy.
Yeah, huge sad guys.
And Brad, I don't see Brad.
Brad,
and
yep.
I'm kind of upset.
Yeah,
I talked about it before. We would have loved to see a sad Brad and Chad team. Fortunately, Chad never came along.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But
or like
as of
the 3 first names, like Brad, Daniel, and
Justin,
I don't know, Justin. There you go.
Have Garrett as their sub. I don't think that would go over well though.
But he has a last initial though, so I don't know if he counts.
I don't know if it works. But yeah, so as of right now, the homie Brad does not have a team, so maybe he gets picked up by Secret, Knight, KV1, and Brad. I think that's certainly not out of the realm of possibility, or maybe, maybe he goes somewhere else. But hopefully we'll see him soon. He had a good showing in RLCS, so, I'm intrigued to watch Sam. Hopefully it's not at the same time as NA. Still don't understand that shit, but whatever. Moving around the world, to the other side of the world, we'll go to OCE. We have Pioneers with the team of Amphis, Scrub, and Fiber. We have Ground Zero with only Super Locky rostered. It was announced today that Kaka was being dropped. We have Team Power with Banana Head, Torsas, and Fever.
I'm not going to lie to you. I know nothing about OCE, but it's going to be fun.
OCE's where it's at.
I mean, it's
Ground Zero.
It seems
a big
like
ground zero guy.
It seems like a consolidation of talent with like Pioneers and Power. So hopefully Ground Zero can kind of rebuild a little bit. I know that OCE hasn't necessarily had the international success that they'd hoped for in the past couple of international events. So, hopefully they can look to get back on track, as Pioneers and Power both look to be, really good rosters with, a lot of talent with Amphis and Fever and, people, doing what they can. So
flashback to the I think it was the Boston major when Ground Zero and Power did knock each other out.
Yeah.
One of the best matches in RLCS history.
That was a good one though. Now we'll quickly move north from OCE and we'll hit APAC. We have Elevate with a roster of LCT, Kevin, and Sphinx, and Gaming Gladiators with a team of Maxu, Virtuoso, and Realize. Is this
Gladiators Go ahead.
Is this the time that we finally see the Elevate dynasty come to an end?
The dynasty that almost beat Vitality in round 1 of the Spring Major.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Almost turned all of Boston upside down for about 3 days.
Seriously.
I still would love to know like what would have happened if that series would have gone the other way. I mean, God,
Everything would be different.
everything.
Right
Elevate would still have a team. I'm kidding.
now.
Damn.
I'm kidding.
That
I'm
actually
about to get some death threats from some APAC players.
that would actually be some good like Patreon content right there. Rocket League what ifs.
Just have like a AI simulate the results or something.
Yeah, like
Just completely
we
build
could
a
do
new
that.
broadcast of what would have happened.
like
Let's
like,
do it.
We should. That
Sounds
would be
Make it happen.
fantastic. Like, Marvel did the what if. So like Rocket League what ifs. What if HAG didn't miss that open net? What if Elevate
True.
beats...
Or just play out every match with Rocket League bots.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
just rename the teams to
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
You have,
Vitality and
you have Tex and Heater going at it.
yeah.
and Mountain.
Oh,
Or we
man.
could do like the what's that RL like the really good bots that you can play against. I
the
forget what it's
Nextos?
called.
Yeah, just a bunch of Nexto bots.
Yeah, just have a
Dude,
bunch
just
of
name them all
Nexos playing each
Zen.
other,
We'll have
like
them- we'll toss
just
them- we'll have them
random.
all out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
But well, I mean,
Alright.
at least we know one
It's a
thing.
deal. We have to do that.
At least we know one thing. If HAG
But yeah, it's just
didn't
called
miss,
RL bot.
if HAG didn't miss that open net, he'd have a team right now and wouldn't be looking for team. So
Well, they'd still be in North America. Probably.
no, Complexity still is.
Probably.
Well, he would be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
complexity is.
But yeah, moving on to Sub-Saharan Africa SSA. On Limitless, we have Darth, Snowy, and To Die For, which actually allied is the second team that actually stayed the same. And on Valiant, we have Wordy, Sweaty, and an unknown third.
Yeah, if you're limitless, you don't change a single thing because they literally didn't lose a game in the entire split the entire season, except for like one grand final. They didn't lose a single time, and then they got 003 at the Worlds, or 04 to the Worlds, I think.
Creepers.
Yeah.
But it's just a region that can't compete yet. But I mean, the community surrounding SSA is so fun. I mean, I got to do some team streams for LCS SSA last season, and the community surrounding it is really close, and it's a really fun community. Obviously, we'll talk about it later with the region lock being removed, but I'm interested to see how that region really expands with that rule change.
Well, I mean, we talked about it a little bit here, right? Like with APAC, like Elevate taking a couple games off of Vitality in their, their second World Championships, or third World Championships, I'm sorry. And, it's just a matter of time, right? Like,
Right.
because once you do have these consistent major spots, you have something to grind for. You have a reason to continue playing the game. You have growth in the region. You have more people that are, I think I could probably make some noise, and you start to play, right? And then the region gets a little bit more flushed out. The ecosystem gets built up. The player base starts to get better, starts to push each other. And, I think it's got a bigger population base than OCE. So, I think there's certainly some opportunities there for a lot of growth.
My major thing is, I guess we can get to this later in more detail, but how, you know what, I'll save it for later. Better conversation for when we get to it.
Okay. Now it's time to jump into EU. We're going to run through these, and then we'll talk about them again at the end, but there's quite a few of them. So on Guild, we have Joda, Sniper, and April. On Endpoint, we have Slumpy, Takara, and Alanis. On Carmine Core, we have Rise, Vatira, and Atau. Moist is Oli, Joyo, and Rezi. On Oxygen, we have Archie, Oski, and Ixo. On Team BDS, we have Monkey Moon, Exotic, and Drali, with Extra staying as the sub. On Vitality stays the same, Zen, Radosin, and Alpha. Solary is K-Dop, Chaussette, and Rise Fox. On Resolve, formerly Williams Resolve, we have Noasaki, Raziers, and Lewis P. On Gentle Mates, Alpine, title sponsor Alpine like in Formula 1, is Itachi, Seiko, and Juicy. A lot of teams there, a lot of changes, a lot of teams trying to get ahead of the arms race that was EU roster moves to try and topple Vitality. cannibalizing Team Liquid and a few others to try and make a run. What do you guys think of these roster moves?
Care what happens, NA ain't getting close.
You don't think?
No.
No.
Like best NA team can probably scrape a win over like a top 4 EU team, in my opinion. Like, that's a little extreme, but I'm serious. I'm just looking at some of these teams, man. Rise, Vatira, Atau, are you kidding me? I mean, Archie, Oski, and Ixo. That's not even a top EU team, and that would be one of the best NA teams.
They did. They
Itachi,
won the
Seiko, and Juice.
They won the Oxygen Invitational in NA.
True, they did. Yeah. I mean, Itachi, Seiko, and Juicy. That's a crazy team. I mean, any of these rosters that I'm looking at are easily top contenders for anywhere else in the world,
well,
even in EU.
You think about it, right? Like you talk about Itachi, Seiko, and Juicy, right? That's like basically a team of castaways, right? From the upper teams, right? Like BDS gets rid of Seiko, you know, Itachi's out in Carmine Core, and Juicy's out from Moist, and they form a team that, you know, competes in the top 4 in NA, you know, pretty easily, in my opinion.
I mean, for a team of, they call the outcasts, I guess, for the top teams, that's wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean another one that kind of surprises me, I think would be a better word, would be Extra staying as the sub on BDS.
I mean, you got to think with this region lock, these teams that clearly are super good but may not be able to compete against Vitality or BDS, go somewhere else, play somewhere else, and win. But I mean, my God, someone nerf these French guys, please. They're too bad.
I mean, you had 9 months, right? Like, and there's a couple people that like Growly announces that he's going to be sitting the split out. He didn't get the team or the tryouts that he wanted. You know, assuming that's what happened. But you know, you have like Growly, you have Extra sitting here as a sub. Like, I mean, that's like 2/3 of a really good team, in my opinion. So I just, it's interesting to me that he stayed sub on BDS and didn't try to team with some people and, you know, try a different region or something like that just to continue to play. But, you know, hey, if that's what he wants to do to stay a sub, then by all means. But, you know, the last region, we'll jump back across the pond, back over to NA. We'll start out with Complexity with the team of Razebull, CRR, and an unknown third. Dignitas will be Arsenal, Explosive Euro, and Evo. G2 Stride is Atomic, Daniel, and Beast Mode. Gen G is apparently Jack, Chronic, and First Killer. Hey Bro, which is rumored to be TSM. Creams, Hockey, and Wavy. Luminosity, Magic Bear, Cheese, and Reddles. M80, AJ, Jorias, and Nas. NRG is Garrett G, Mist, and Frosty. Shopify, we got Justin, Two Piece, and Parth. Space Station Gaming is going to be Chicago, LJ, and Hoxer. The OG Red Bulls gaming team is going to be JNaps, Nolly, and Calm. We also have Squishy, Gimmick, and Aqua set to team. Potentially, you know, they're going to get picked up, and this is, according to Squishy, his last split in RLCS. Thoughts?
The GOAT, Squishy. I mean, there's some really fun roster. I haven't really said that with a lot in the past. There's been, in past seasons, it's been a lot of, you got your main break between your top team, like the upper echelon teams, and then everyone else is just kind of floating around in the middle. But NA is going to be pretty competitive this season. There isn't like a team that's just going to blow everybody away. If there is, I think it's G2 Stride and Gen G. Those two are, I feel like, going to be sitting at the top. But I mean,
I feel like G2 Stride, is only missing one thing.
Is it Calm?
And that's Calm.
Yeah, I was waiting for that
Calm.
one.
Of course, Binky's the one that brings up Calm.
Heck yeah.
But
always.
On the same kind of like wavelength, I think Gen G and G2 are the best opportunity that NA has to compete with EU. I think, like, you know, if they're popping off or they're playing at 100%, I think they have the capability of competing with those top teams in EU. However, I think that this season, especially with all of the roster changes that happened, I think that there's going to be a lot of teams that can take games off of, some of those top teams. Like, we saw it in some of the the Bandits on Wheels tournaments, the draw, stuff like that. You have, Hebro winning against, Torment's Minions and some of the, some like Luminosity. But then, in the draw, you have Luminosity beating some of these bigger teams. So, you have M80 performing pretty well. I think that there's a lot of teams that can take games off of and pull some upsets, but I don't know that as a whole NA is able to compete with EU.
I totally agree. Like we said when we covered the EU rosters, I don't even think I don't know, G2 and Gen G, those are going to be pretty solid teams, but I genuinely don't see them competing even with a top 4 EU team.
I'm talking like just a straight up like a V1 at Gamers 8 like level of peaking.
I mean, even then.
I mean, that's why they play the game. So like, I'll be interested to see what happens. But
I mean, we haven't seen, other than like the Oxygen Esports thing, the draw, and the Bandits on Wheels tournaments. We don't have anything to go off of. So they could come back and just be like some crazy powerhouse of a region, but based off of recent
you talking
history,
NA?
Yes,
they could be.
Okay.
But
okay.
I don't think they will. That's just my thing. I don't think they will.
I mean,
because we know that if you're French, you're good at Rocket League. That's basically what it is.
I mean, we haven't seen Gen G play. They did not participate in many of the off-season tournaments.
True.
They're saving their honeymoon phase for when RLCS starts. It's possible they can come out and blow everybody away with first killer. I don't know that that's necessarily going to be the case, but I am very intrigued by some of these roster moves. I think Space Station Gaming gets better with the addition of Chicago. I think Dignitas and really is going to benefit from Arsenal and Gyro playing together. I think Shopify with Justin has looked really good. I think you could see a resurgence from Garrett G and NRG. He hit a crazy corner double last week. I think M80 is going to be very intriguing. I think Luminosity plays a very unique game style. I think that this is going to be one of the more entertaining regions to watch. I think it's going to be a lot closer in terms of like RLCS points for majors than people would have originally thought. But I still think it's going to be Gen G and G2 closer to the top.
Yeah, 100%. I think
Yep.
Hebro / TSM, they're going to make some good runs. Hopefully get into a major. Oh my God, that'd be so fun. Can you imagine?
It would be. It certainly would be.
Would be the dream.
But with that, we've. Oh, go ahead, AJ. Sorry.
No, it's just that I agree. That's all.
Fair. Well, with that, we've gone over the rosters. We'll kind of move into like the open qualifiers, some of the format stuff, some things that have come out over the past couple of days. First and foremost. Jeez, I can't talk.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, first and format, exactly. With this new format, everybody playing on the same day. In the past, for last RLCS season, the podcast was going. We'd do a recap and a preview. So we'd recap the previous weekend and then preview the upcoming weekend, but that's not really gonna happen this time. So since all the regions are happening at the same day, we'll have to switch up how we preview the open qualifiers. If like always with anything else, if you guys have feedback, please let us know in Discord, on Twitter, things like that. So we'll do the best we can, but we're gonna have to switch it up a little bit.
One episode per region every day of the week.
I mean, that seems like what it's got to be.
Totally kidding.
I know, but that's gonna be crazy.
60-hour-a-week job for those weeks.
No, we're just gonna do a 24-hour live stream on the day of each event and cover each event as it happens.
Oh, I don't hate that idea.
That would be so fun though, doing it once or twice.
Would. Yeah,
oh my God.
That'd be really fun actually.
We may actually have to do that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I
Okay.
like it.
Well,
subtly pins idea to the bulletin board.
Yeah, we'll have to we'll do that.
Mark your calendars, boys.
But with that, we'll talk a little bit more about the format. A couple things have come out. Each match in the double elimination qualifiers before top 48 will be best of 3, and all matches for the top 48 will be best of 5. I hate that.
Who does this benefit?
No one.
Literally, I think it
It
just benefits
the
all the
people
top.
that are worse.
I don't know. I feel like it benefits the people that are better in a way sometimes because it goes both ways. Because if you're
Well, if it's a best of 3, Elevate beats Vitality.
true,
Yeah.
They sweep them
yeah,
straight
that is
up.
true. But in some
Yeah.
cases too, sometimes it takes. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I think the
And
upset,
stand corrected.
everything would be different now.
the upset potential for the best of 3 is huge. Also,
And
you're
with-
going to see
yeah.
a tremendous amount of reverse sweeps, but I feel like you can't even call it that because you're only going down 1 game.
It's literally first to 2. It's
Disgusting.
I personally think it's stupid. Yeah, I'm gonna go play RLCS against some of the best players in the world, win my $100, and then get knocked out in 2 matches.
I mean, it's
I
just
don't know.
like I hear, and then you know what? We'll talk about the region stuff we mentioned a little bit before earlier, and then we'll talk about the format and region thing as a whole. But players can compete in any region for open qualifiers as long as they compete there for the rest of the season. There are no residency restrictions. Maybe you just go down to SSA and farm the region. If you know, you know. But thoughts on that?
I think there's some good things from that and some horrible things from that.
Okay, name some good things.
Good things, it makes all the regions competitive. Not as competitive as like the 2 major regions, obviously, but you're gonna see some more life from your SSAs, your MENA. I wouldn't say your MENAs because they already put out some top
Is it-
rosters.
It's artificial life, though.
It is, yes. But I mean, VPNs exist. Everyone's first response was, "Oh, it's okay." All the teams that from NA that are bubble teams or whatever that clearly aren't going to make it in RLCS NA can just play, but they'll be on 250 ping. No, VPNs exist. I know some people that
No, you'll still be on high ping.
Yeah, but I know some people that are from Africa and they play on USE servers with 80 ping. So it happens. So we'll just have to see. It could bring some life, like you said, I guess artificial life, but I mean you're not gonna see a GC1 team from SSA making it to top 8 anymore. It's gonna be
No.
the top SSA teams making it plus 6 NA B plus teams or rank 8 teams.
Okay. So wait, how many? We're talking for the regionals, right?
Yep, top 16.
So how many? Top 16. Okay.
Make Swiss stage, and then top 8 make single elimination bracket.
Okay. So SSA, you're saying 8 are gonna be of this top 16, 8 of them are not gonna be SSA teams, right?
I think it could possibly be more than 8.
That's what I'm thinking.
Like, I think it could be. I was saying in a top 8, I think 7 of the 8 will be NA or EU teams.
What I
Frankly.
want to see is top NA people play in EU and top EU people play in NA. So it's just like a region swap. I think that'd be hilarious.
So just everyone plays on high ping for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
This season we're gonna play. It's called lag ball.
It's basically just normal psionic servers.
Everyone just plays on the server across the world from them.
Yeah.
It's Epic Games' excuse for having terrible servers. Now it's just a normalized thing.
Everybody's just trying to like.
So
big
we're doing
brain
budget
which
cuts
server everybody's
now.
playing on.
Now there's
Everyone
only
has a
one server.
minimum of 200 ping. Everyone plays on one. They just take turns, just
Yeah,
joining
you
and
have to
leaving the
take
private
turns
match to
using
play their
it.
game.
It's,
That's why they're all on one day now because they only have one server. Dang.
it's in Antarctica. Everyone has shitty ping.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to play all
6,000
300,000 games on that one server.
Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
But like it's hard for like I keep trying to be optimistic. I keep trying to be positive. Like RLCS is back. We're finally gonna get some more pro Rocket League events are coming. Lands are coming. Like that's really what the people want, is to go back to LAN events. But like the more that comes out, the more, things I keep hearing, the more like intricacies that I see on Twitter that people are talking about, the less optimistic I am, the more frustrated and upset I get, and it just seems like it's getting worse as time goes on instead of better. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I'm very close to just plugging my ears and just going la 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 for what Epic Games has to say, because I, I I'm with you. It's just at this point, what else are we going to lose? What else is going to change? But honestly, the only thing keeping me with it is the fact that RLCS is a week away, so 2 weeks away.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like it started like when the announcements happened. It started at the bottom of the hill, and it's continuing to go downhill.
Yep.
Yeah. Like you had like all the excitement, like the initial excitement of like, oh my god, they finally announced something. Like the season is happening. Like it actually is the end of January. Like holy shit. But then it's like, oh wait a minute, you're decreasing the prize pool. Oh wait a minute, you're increasing the number of teams that win a smaller prize pool. Oh wait a minute, there's no region lock. Oh wait a minute, it's best of 3. And then you like it's just like continuing. Like, oh wait a minute, there's only 2 LAN events before the World Championships. It just like, oh wait, they're all on the same day, every region. Like it's just like they're like I don't think I could have said it any better. We started at the bottom of the hill and have just continued to backslide.
Yeah,
It's like they gave us a pile of poop but dressed it up like a nice birthday cake.
It's like we're playing one of those is it cake games.
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's like a wrench.
Yep, looks like it to me.
I just it makes zero sense to me. But I mean, regardless of how shitty it is, I'm still like partially excited to have RLCS back. I'm still excited to see the competitions. I'm excited to see the new rosters, just to be able to watch Rocket League, watch cars go burr, stuff like that. So, I just, with that, we'll kind of jump into we previewed all of the regions teams that we know of so far that have been released, and we'll kind of talk more about some of the bigger topics in that. So we'll start out in MENA. The rosters had a major shakeup, but do you guys realistically see it being anyone but the big 3, being Rule 1, Falcons, and Twisted Minds?
No.
I kind of
again with the region lock, there could be some contenders, but
That's true.
with all of the other like powerhouse teams being so far away, I genuinely don't see it as a possibility that they can beat somebody like Rule 1 that makes it to the top 4 of a major anyways.
Yeah,
so,
and I mean on their own, on their home servers too.
Right, so I genuinely don't see it. There's a possibility. Some teams may sneak into top 4, top 8, but no, not a chance.
And then do you think this region has like a quote, like who do you think is going to be like the top dog in this region?
Rule 1.
Rule 1 for sure.
You think so? Over
100%.
like
Yep.
Falcons?
Yeah. Falcons have the chem, but I feel like Rule 1 has the experience. I don't know. I say that, but Nupo just joining, but I don't know. It's gonna be a toss-up. That's why I'm so excited.
Yeah, I really think it's a 2-horse race. I think Twisted Minds are a great team. I think they had a great addition adding Mason. But, I really just, like, I believe in Khalid and Ahmad still. I think Nuepo is fantastic. And then, the twins with TRK, I think, is going to be an absolute menace to everybody else. So I'm excited to see where MENA goes. Especially now that they have an additional region spot.
True. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So you get 2 teams now instead of 1.
That's exciting.
Good. Yeah. We get to see both of them play at the major now.
Yeah.
Knock each other out in the lower bracket.
Yikes.
You're losing to some French team.
Either lose to a French team or you lose to MENA.
True.
Next, in APAC, it seems as though Elevate's dynasty is no more. Do we see a new king of APAC, or will the wealth be spread around the region a little bit more evenly?
I feel like this is one of those examples of some other region team coming in and just wiping the region. However, the Gladiators are going to be really good.
I think Gladiators are definitely going to be the best actual APAC region
True
team.
APAC team, yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it might be just as prevalent as with SSA, with considering potentially over half of the top 16 teams being not from APAC.
That is a genuine possibility.
I mean, even Game & Gladiators team, Max U and Virtuoso are Irish. I mean, they live in APAC, don't get me wrong, right? They're there. But
they moved there to play RLCS.
Yeah,
they got screwed in this exchange, dude. They got
Exactly.
screwed.
Yeah, they did.
So,
Oh, that's rough. I'd be so mad.
Can you imagine moving halfway across the world to play in APAC, and then they come out like 6 months later? Hey, you don't have to live there anymore to play. My God.
Cool.
Awful,
Thanks for
dude.
that one.
There could be other circumstances
Furious.
for why they had to relocate, but my gosh, that would suck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. OCE. Does the big three continue to dominate, even though Ground Zero only has one player rostered currently? What do you guys think?
Yeah, they're just gonna 1v3 everybody. They'll just take them all down. It's gonna be ridiculous. I can't wait to see it.
Super Locky hard carry?
Yep.
They'll do it in game 1 of the first tournament and then never surface again. One hit wonder, literally one hit wonder.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I'm intrigued to see what Power and Pioneers can do. I think we may have a little bit of a situation where some of the lesser OCE teams get overrun by interlopers. I'll say people from other regions competing in OCE.
I feel like that's a kind term.
It is.
Yeah, but I mean, we haven't gotten to SSA yet. So who is your
SSA?
Who is your favorite team currently in the OCE region that actually is in the OCE region? Really,
I'd say Power.
Does Ground Zero count?
I mean, they would if they had a team.
They have a third of a team. Does that not count for anything?
They're 1/3 of my vote for the best team.
Yeah.
The other 2/3 is Power.
The other 2/3 for me are Banana Head and Torsauce.
Fair.
Banana had the best name in all of RLCS other than Sad.
For real.
Banana Head's
And
mom
Brad.
Banana Head's mom follows me on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Get her on the podcast. Get her on the podcast.
Speak English?
Pre-game interview.
But
that'd be so cool if we could actually like live stream watch party with her.
Dude, just like Monday Night Football it up with the Mannings.
That'd be
Oh my
crazy.
God.
But
That'd be awesome.
I'm really a big fan of the additions that Pioneers made. I think Amphis is gonna be a fantastic addition. So I'm excited to see what they can do. But Fever popped off at Worlds, so as much as he could have at least. So let's see what they can do, or see if kind of some non-OCE teams come out of that region. And then the last minor region that we'll talk about is SSA. I really what is there really to say? It seems like it was a one-team region last season with Valiant kind of just sweeping through, but then getting fully swept at World Championships. Is anything going to change for them?
Yeah, they're gonna have to play against other regions now.
Yeah, that's what the change is. I mean, the one team that literally won the entire region, they didn't drop a single game except for one grand final. They made it to Worlds. That was limitless. Even then, I don't even think they compete with a top 32 EU team. It's just not realistic to me. You're just going to see a bunch of, again, rank A teams from other regions just come in and steamroll the region.
Yeah. I think that you said it pretty well. I think we've talked about it for pretty much any region that's not NA or EU, and probably MENA. These regions with the no region lock thing, with VPNs existing, with internet and technology as good as it is, I think we'll see a lot of non-native teams taking RLCS region spots from teams that are actually in that region, which would be sad to see.
Yeah, those guys aren't even gonna have to go on vacation to farm the region now.
Yeah, now they can just do it from their college dorm room.
Yeah.
in Mississippi.
Hey man, did you see that thing? I made a bunch of African guys down there.
Oh Lord.
um, but moving into a region where I think people actually will be leaving this region to compete elsewhere is EU. There's been a ton of shakeups to compete with Vitality. Do you think anybody has done enough to potentially do that?
Army Corps.
KC?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't think. I mean, Fairy Pete coming in place of Farah, I don't think that makes much of a difference, frankly. But those three are just the three. Not losing until Gamers 8, it's pretty crazy. But I don't know. EU's top 4 are better than any NA team. So we'll see.
Okay,
Yeah.
who's your
EU's top 4 is top 4 in the world.
who is your top 4 then for E EU?
I would say Vitality number 1, KC number 2. I would say probably BDS or Oxygen. And then I would say Gentle Mates, Alpine.
Okay,
Those are like my rough top 4 or 5.
gotcha. Okay, AJ, what about you?
Vitality, KC. Part of me wants to say Oxygen, but no. And then Gentlemates Alpine.
No BDS?
Whatever it is. Yeah. I should it it should be BDS over why can't I even find it now?
Oxygen.
Yeah, Oxygen. I still can't find it. There it is. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Oxygen though over BDS.
All right.
Okay. Again, like you both, Vitality, Carmine Corp. I haven't been as impressed thus far with Drawley. I could come to eat those words for sure because BDS is a fantastic organization. Monkey Moon is an incredible Rocket League player and he's French, so he gets the extra buff. I think Gentle Mates could be good, but I kind of believe in Moist a little bit. I think Resi was a good addition for them. I think that they can continue to compete, but for now I have Vitality, Carmine Corp, BDS, and Moist.
I wanna believe in Moist. I want to believe in Moist
Misinput.
so badly.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying for now. We'll be able to cross that bridge when we come to it. Hopefully they are able to perform pretty well at the open qualifiers, and we can come back and talk to you guys about how well Moist did. But
Charlie, you ever want to do a watch party with us? Let us know.
hit
Shout
us
out Moist Matt.
hit us up.
Hell yeah.
Last but not least, we got NA. No teams have stayed the same. Do you guys think that's a good or a bad thing?
It's a good thing because NA is trying to figure out how to compete with EU. It's still not going to work, but it's gonna mix things
That's
up
the
and make it
sad
more fun
part.
to watch. Yeah, it is the sad
Yeah.
part. I mean, we have a long road ahead of us of just disappointment in RLCS.
There's also a strong lack of purple I'm noticing too.
I know.
Big sad.
Where's version 2?
But it's basically just G2. Like the whatever the board members or whatever just went to G2. So
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't like the number 1.
yeah. Yeah, going with
Really, number 1 was Gamers 8.
version 2.
I mean,
Yeah, their version 2 is G2 Stride.
Exactly.
like we've seen a lot of roster shakeup, but we don't really see many new faces. You know what I mean?
No, not really.
Like if you look at EU, Drawley's kind of new to the scene. Rise
Wavy's
Fox.
relatively new, right?
Yeah. I would say Wavy, Frosty, and then I guess you could say maybe Creams or Hockey, but like they've been around the block once or twice.
Yeah.
They were in Rivals a long time ago. I mean, they've been a thing for a long time.
Yeah, but like with the success that they've had recently, like in considering to be like maybe a top 16 team in NA.
True, no doubt.
So I mean, it's
No
going to be
doubt, no
interesting to
doubt.
see what happens there. I don't really, like we talked about a little bit earlier. I think it's going to be a lot closer of a region than people once thought. But I still don't know if they're able to compete, wholeheartedly with the top four in EU.
No.
But is this really like anyone's region? Is there kind of a clear cut top four? Like we've seen strong performances previously from bubble teams like Shopify, HeyBro, Energy, maybe not necessarily a bubble team, but they, certainly had a down season last year. They're looking to bounce back from, but we've seen strong performances from these teams. So is that enough to kind of make you guys think that it's anybody's region, or is there kind of a solidified top four in your opinion?
Oh, Joria's is NA now. I forgot about that.
He certainly is.
That's like
crazy.
that tri-region team
Yeah,
of M80.
that's nuts.
I'd say my top four are G2, Gen G. I really want to say, man, it's such a toss-up though. I would say,
Do it.
go ahead. You go ahead.
TSM.
I want to say TSM, but I think they're top 6, top 8 for sure. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be close. Luminosity is gonna be competitive. SSG is gonna be competitive, and OG is gonna be competitive.
Yeah.
And so is Dignitas, but I don't think Dignitas.
Did you say
is gonna-
Shopify in there?
No.
I feel like Shopify is, but maybe I don't know.
No, I don't even put them top 6.
You don't.
Nope.
I feel like they're gonna surprise people, but
I hope they do. Justin needs it.
yeah. Gen G, TSM, G2. I want to say OG for my number 4.
Okay.
OG, yeah, OG.
They had some good results.
Yeah.
They got a lot of
Tom
experience
Lover
on
over
that team. I mean, but this kind of
Who
makes
can go wrong with demos?
Yeah. This kind of makes my point though. It seems like we've all had a little bit of a tougher time predicting the top 4 in this region. It's not as much of a consensus after the top 2. So I think it's going to be a lot closer of a region again, like we talked about. But for me,
All right,
it's
hold up.
got to be.
How many of these teams are going to lose like super early, like surprisingly early, like not top 48 early?
Top 48?
Luminosity.
Really?
It seems to
How many
me that they
four
like
of
kind
these
of
teams
start a little bit
aren't top
slower.
48?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I want there to be 4 of these NA teams not top 48.
I don't even know. I don't know if that's gonna happen, man.
I don't think it will, but I can hope.
Dude, can you imagine just an EU team comes over and just rolls everybody? That would be hilarious.
Yeah,
That would be awesome. I want there to be a region where none of the top 16 are actually from the region.
I think
I don't care which region.
is a real possibility of that happening.
I do too. That would be like changes would have to be made if that was the case, right?
I feel like they would.
I would hope so.
Yeah. And I feel like if that doesn't happen, then changes will not be made.
Agreed. But my top 4 is G2, Gen G. I'm going to go Space Station, and then I think Dignitas.
Oh, I didn't even think about Space Station. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's so many
Oh, you
teams.
said Space Station.
It's like
Okay.
it's such a deep region.
You mentioned it.
Maybe not as like high. Like it's a plateau instead of a peak, right?
Yeah.
We're
That's a
like
good way to put it.
like for people who are unfamiliar, like Mount Everest is on a plateau. That's one of the reasons that it's the tallest mountain in the world, right? So like EU is Mount Everest, the top 4 is up there, and then the Tibetan plateau is like NA. It's like
Big
the jump off
rock guy
point.
here.
Yeah.
I would want to play that. I wouldn't be surprised if some like top 16.
If I was a pro, I wouldn't want to play in any of these tournaments. It'd be so stressful.
I wouldn't either. Specifically, if
imagine
I was in
getting
EU,
beat
I
by
would not
champ
want
twos.
to play in EU this season.
That
I
too.
would not want to play there, dude.
But like the fact that you have to go through all the diamonds and champs, like the fact that you could possibly lose to them would be so stressful.
That's true. You lose to like a 1700 ranked team. Can you imagine?
Yeah. You'd like
seeing
your
the
team would have
headlines.
to disband.
Vitality losers to 3 ranked players.
Lose to a team of bronzes.
Not
Shout
even
out Jim
ranked this
John and
season.
Doc Pep, resident 1,700 players.
Yeah. But last but not least for today's episode, talent cuts. It was announced over the past week that there's a lot of casters that are not being brought back for this season of RLCS. Those being Jorby, Spaceman, Subi, Achieves, Isaac App, Turtle, and Corelli. What does this mean for casting?
This is the biggest hitter for me. As a caster, I'm crushed.
Is this because of the Blast TV people taking over?
Yes. And Epic. I mean,
Are they going to be using their own talent?
that was my theory. I thought my theory with this whole thing is, and I've been talking to some people, and it was found that Epic may have been doing up to 30% budget cuts for RLCS or more. And with these talent cuts, man, my theory is that Blast is going to take some of their already obviously hired talent that's been working with them, and they're going to use the remaining RLCS talent and mix them together. I really hope that isn't the case.
Yeah.
I really hope, but there's a strong possibility of that happening. And obviously, no hate to the Blast guys that already work there, but they don't work Rocket League events.
Yeah,
There's a reason
like it's
why
not
they
going to be
don't.
their fault.
There's a reason why they don't.
If that happens.
Right, it's
Yeah.
not their fault, and I'm sure they're extremely talented, but there's a specific thing about Rocket League. You got to know the game. Like, it's such a narrow niche. It's only RLCS casters can cover that content. I really hope that doesn't happen.
It feels like trying to get like a traditional sportscaster to like cast like League of Legends or something super
Right.
complicated like that. Like I feel like it's just not gonna work if that happens.
Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
These casters, I mean, Jorby, Spaceman, Subi, Achieves, Turtle, Corelli, these guys have been here for years. They know all these players. They know all these pros. They know the format, which now they don't because the format's stupid. But
They probably still know it though.
they probably do, yeah. I mean, they've been in the scene for years, man, and it's just like they're gone. Like the world fell apart when Lawler didn't get his contract signed, let alone 6 people. I mean, it's crazy, man. I'm
these are big names too. It's not like
everyone knows these.
It's
6.
not like it's not like names you're like, oh, I've heard of one of these guys. It's like these are all
mainstays of RLCS.
It's like like 6 squishies retiring at once. Can you imagine how big that is for the player scene, let alone the caster scene? It's ridiculous.
I mean,
it's crazy.
Like one thing too that I've kind of like you've kind of seen in the past couple of seasons, right? You saw Lemon Kiwi being brought in a little bit, Spaceman starting to do a little bit more in the scene, and like kind of new talent coming into the scene, appreciating Rocket League, bringing a new perspective and kind of hype to it. But with these cuts, right? These are 6 people who are like super deserving of their jobs. They do fantastic work. They know Rocket League. They've been around the scene. They like know what it takes and what to do to make a tremendous broadcast. But like this is going to make it even harder for new talent to get in.
Especially if Blast brings in their own talent.
Yeah.
Make it impossible.
You're diluting a tremendous talent pool with, like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that they are stupendous casters at the sport that they, the sport that they come from, right? But they're not Rocket League casters.
I'd love to be proven wrong, but
And
I genuinely
there's a chance
don't think
that
this
like
is
using their own talent, like they're all, I mean, probably not the case, but like there's a chance that every caster they're going to use from their talent pool knows Rocket League. Like they could just follow the esports scene. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's not the same though.
But
it's not. You're right.
Also, another thing
I'm saying that could be it is a possibility.
Yeah.
But you're right, it is not the same.
And another thing people talked about too is like with all of the events happening on the same weekend, that's potentially less people that you need to cover the same amount of Rocket League. Right? So, like, removing some of the casters may not necessarily, have to, like, all of those spots don't necessarily need to be filled, immediately by casters, right? You still have a lot of people that have been renewed that, can still cover those events, especially because they're all happening, like, concurrently.
I don't know, man. I was thinking one thing too. On the other side of the coin, like if Blast doesn't use their own talent, it could. There's a possibility it could open the door for new talent to make their way into the scene for less pay. I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
They're looking for people that aren't already signed, contracted with Psionics, with whoever, for being broadcast talent for crazy
Just
high
doing it for
pay.
cheaper.
Because I've been told that the people that like these 6 have very nice had very nice contracts, very good pay. And apparently
Sure
Psionics
they deserved it.
They very much so deserved it. And Psionics apparently worked fantastically with them to make sure they have very good pay. And I guess Epic said, "Oh, we don't like that." So this could be a way for new talent to make their way in for less pay. And that would be exactly what Epic wants. There's some amazing casters out there that I'm sure would be willing to work RLCS events for freaking minimum wage.
Oh yeah.
I would. That's for
people
sure.
that volunteer for it.
Yeah, I'd do it for free. But granted,
Yeah,
I'm not an
exactly.
RLCS level caster yet.
But I mean, certainly, it's truly the end of an era. We wish nothing but the best for these guys. I certainly will miss, and I know many other people will as well, will miss hearing and seeing them on the broadcast. So we wish them the best of luck in all of their future endeavors, and hopefully they're able to land on their feet and do what they can. So thank you to all of you for bringing life to RLCS for as long as you did, and hopefully they can work to make things just as good on the broadcast. But with that, before we wrap up, do you guys have any last thoughts or comments or questions or anything like that?
Time's ticking. I can't wait.
Are we doing a boost over ball open qualifier?
We could.
Represent a team.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get top 5,000.
Heck yeah. Getting the money. Top 128.
I'll get my 62 cents and run.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
But with that, I think we're gonna wrap up today's episode. It's a little bit longer of an episode. We had a lot to go over. This will be, more than an hour, which is more than we normally do for our episodes. So hopefully everyone enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, rate us wherever you listen to podcasts. Those 5 stars really help us grow our brand, grow our show, bring more people in to listen to us. Also check out our YouTube, our Twitch, our TikTok, and our merch store. All of these links and more can be found on our website at boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website, www.boostoverball.com, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts.